Alright, hello, welcome. Still nobody watching, but I like to be on time for myself. My microphone just didn't work. I had to restart my computer, which is a whole big mess because you gotta close all the programs, and yeah, life is so hard. It's been a while since I streamed. Quite a few events going on. Would like to stream more, but again, this is for me, so I'm going to stream as I like. I still plan on one day building this up into an actual community. Perhaps if I tried screwing people over or tried selling them fake plans or signals, I bet you I'd have a community then. Alright, let's get moving. Market has been strange. Define strange. This is the NQ daily. Straight up for 3 days on very low volume. If I was smart, I would probably enter a long-term short right here. But I missed a good entry. But it's strange because at the same time this is happening, VIX is trending up as well. I know that's not VIX for the NASDAQ. But VXN is also slightly trending up ever since the end of December. I don't get it. I don't know why AI is still a thing. They have yet to make any money on it. I don't think it took 3 years to make money on the internet. Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't trading then. I don't know what to think. It just seems insane. I wrote a note to myself the other day that said, stop thinking about the markets like they make sense. Stop thinking about it as if it's 1940. A lot of the books I read, they had their groundings in that time period. So you study these old charts from whatever, not IBM, but geez, I can't even think of a really old company, GM maybe. And they make sense. But you look at markets nowadays, and it's just debt upon debt. I almost feel like making a rule for myself, never too short. But I don't think I could do that. Anyway, the end of this note I made to myself was just start pretending like when someone like Jensen Huang comes out and says AI is going to be the future, start pretending like I believe him for a bit. I can stay true to reality, but still make money in the speculative markets. Maybe this is another reason why I enjoy scalping so much. You don't have to deal too much with irrational markets. Well, yeah, you do. All right, let's check out the news. And then I'll go over overnight prices a little bit. Maybe I'll show some examples of price being volatile. I haven't been scalping much because of that reason. Monday was pretty normal. Somewhere around Tuesday, prices started getting nuts. FOMC today, very much expected to not cut anything, but it will be telling what the further guidance is. Do they hint at more cuts in the future? I don't know. I don't see how. Really, they need to raise rates like they did in the 70s. I've just been studying the Fed a bit more in it. I still want it gone, but you have to accept what's here. Anyway, in the 70s, they rose interest rates to like 20%. They pegged it at 20% for a long time, and it worked. Inflation ceased pretty quickly. I think it threw us into a bit of a recession, but I don't think it matters. It fixed things. People were able to afford stuff. But the problem now is I don't really think they care about people anymore. Their whole separate and destroy plan seems to be working. The cycle of governments and monarchies taking turns destroying, governments and monarchies against normal people taking turns destroying each other. That cycle seems to be accelerating. We're moving towards a time when our government wants to destroy us as a people. All Western governments want that right now. America's kind of a holdout in some ways, simply because, well, we had the most recent revolution. And our rights are a bit more solid than in other countries. They're doing their best, though. Anyway, back to the debt. They couldn't raise rates anyway today because government debt is 1/3 of GDP. You're close to that. So even if they rose rates by 2%, that would have huge implications on our government debt. You would have to cut spending to tons of worthless government programs. And as we know, government programs can do nothing but expand and fail. But yet they keep on expanding. I'm not sure a single one has ever been successful in its mission. But they keep on churning. If only the American forefathers had known the true evil of a government organization or a government agency. And it's weird, the White House right now, it doesn't make sense to me. They have conflicting goals constantly. On one hand, our president wants to get rid of a lot of government programs. But on the other hand, he's spending money like no one else. The whole idea that the government can spend money and stimulate the economy, it only works to a certain point. But just for some context, let's place ourselves as someone in the 70s thinking inflation's gonna destroy everything, and there was people then at that time thinking everything was getting worse. Things kind of turned out all right. Everything usually does. So why the heck am I not making money while the farce still plays out? That is a good question. I'm hedged, so I'm flat right now. But yeah, I don't know. Later this week we got continuing jobless claims, initial jobless claims, NFP. Friday I think I got Michigan. Is that Friday? Or PPI on Friday? Let's take a look at the headlines, if we aren't upset enough. Amazon plans to cut 16,000 jobs amid AI. It's kind of funny. This is just an excuse to cut jobs. That's interesting. Amazon Incorporated is cutting 16,000 corporate jobs in an effort to remove layers of bureaucracy and increase ownership. So during COVID, or right after COVID, these companies hired on mass scale. I forget the exact reason. A lot of it was competition. Like if they don't, who knows how much we'll grow. We want to bring as many people in as we can. And maybe some of them will really, really help us. Some of it was that. Some of it was also government incentive. I think they were getting breaks during COVID for hiring people and all that. So you had a bunch of people doing what they call email jobs. Going to work, 9:30, 10, which is insane to me. That's lunch for me. Send a couple emails, take an hour lunch, have a couple meetings in the afternoon, go home in your Maserati. That's what a lot of these people were doing, and I think the market will take it well that they're actually cutting these jobs. The tech firm will offer US-based employees 90 days to search for a new role internally, as well as severance and other transition support. Beth Galati, Amazon Senior Vice President of People Experience. What kind of a title is that? People experience and tech. What is people experience? You mean living? That is so stupid. We've been working to strengthen our organization by reducing layers, increasing ownership, and removing bureaucracy. She said it's not our plan to announce broad staff cuts every few months, and said the company would continue to make adjustments as appropriate. Companies across industries have been trimming management layers in the name of becoming leaner and more productive. Last year, Microsoft cut thousands of workers with a focus on reducing management. Intel was ahead of them all. Nissan Group of North America cut 20% of its top management positions, and Amtrak similarly targeted roughly 20% of its own top. I didn't know Amtrak was a business. Jeez. Where was I? ASML is cutting jobs too. Last year, he also warned employees that AI will shrink the workforce as Amazon automates more of its operations. So automation was going to happen anyway, and I really don't think large language models, whatever, LLMs, I don't think they don't work. They don't work as well as they think. So they're cutting 4.6% of their headcount. Let's see what the comments say. My favorite part. Exactly. So if AI is cutting our wage-earning jobs, who's left to buy anything when everyone is... Nobody's buying anything right now anyway. Spending all our money on energy and healthcare. I feel like I need to become friends with a veterinarian who I think you understand what I mean. Amazon's founder, Jeffrey Preston Bezos' former mistress. Amazon's founder, Jeffrey Preston Bezos. Who writes like this? Former mistress, and now as his second wife needs a new yacht. Brand new Valentine. Okay, whatever. Alright, hold on. Shit. I really should have taken that call. Alright, let's speed this up. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? News, news, news. Dollar sinks to 4-year low. Starbucks sales jump. How? U.S. mortgage rates increase. All right, that's enough. What do we got here? Overnight, the ES quickly rose above yesterday's high before coming back down. We're touching it right now. That would have been a good trade. But I was too busy looking at depressing news. And Q, very similar. A lot higher of a run, which is suspect. Because, geez, where are we? Russell's not rising as much. Well, it is now. So maybe the NASDAQ is leading the rest of them at this point. Oh, but the Dow is flat. So, yeah, I don't know. What companies are leading? The NQ. Amazon might pop on firing people. Palantir's down. All right, gold. Gold's still rising. That's what happens when you have a cheap dollar. Oil. Why don't I center my charts? Because it always centers right here. I don't like it. Or reasons. Just reasons. Oil. Nothing doing. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is rising right now. Huh. All right, let's take a look at... So as you can see, the NQ... This triangle I drew a while ago. So we did break out. This should have been a breakout. Yeah. It really should have been. I also should have held these trades I made down here. Don't get me started on that. Really thinking about doing a short up here. But I would really love an entry at the high again. But as you can see, Russell's kind of muted. ES, it's making all-time new highs, but it's still kind of flat. We don't really have a good structure. And the Dow is actually down. Yesterday it was down. What was down yesterday? Geez, I wish TradingView had a way to delete a whole bunch of lists at once. No, you gotta click each one. Yes. Each one, yes. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes. So stupid. All right. JP Morgan's down. V, what's V? Is that Verizon? No, Verizon's VZ. What the hell is V? Visa, duh. Home Depot, Procter & Gamble. So I'm guessing they led the drop in the Dow. So rotation back into tech for now, which you can obviously see in the charts. Will this recent run broaden out? Maybe. I could see that happening today. The Dow heading up a little bit as the NASDAQ recovers. I don't know if I should redraw this triangle or not. We'll see. Overnight VIX futures. Ooh, kind of shooting up a little bit. We are heading towards backwardation. How about in the long term? No, not really. As you can see, the VIX is heading up. Dollar fell hard yesterday, is now slightly recovering. Treasury yields. They fell hard yesterday too after they were going up for quite a while. 2-year Treasury yields. Yeah, we're at the top of this channel here. That would have been a good trade as well. Oh, if I could count all the trades I miss. What else we got? That's it. Anyway, that's all I got. I gotta go. It's already past 9. Thanks for listening. Massive audience of 0. Soon. One day. Maybe I don't want that to happen. Alright, goodbye, good luck.